You're listening to the Things of That Nature podcast. Coming to you from Denver, the Mile High City, is me, your host, Rakshana. I invite you to join me for truly honest, passionate, and fun talks that motivate, invigorate, and maybe inspire. When you're ready in the Mile High, the sky's the limit. Everything and anything goes. So let's start talking about things of that nature. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Things of That Nature podcast. I'm your host, Rakshana, and today I have someone that has been through a lot, but she's positive and she's smiling, and I love it. Today we have Stacey Chillemi, and I'm very intrigued to hear her story from her rather than just reading it. So, hey Stacey, how's it going?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Nice. So, Stacey, you've been through a lot.
Yeah, I've been through a lot. It's been a roller coaster ride, but I pull through it.
Nice. So, when you say you pulled through it, what got you through being still a positive individual?
Well, I developed epilepsy at the age of 5, and I had struggled all my life with the disorder. And, I struggled throughout my entire life, consistently taking seizures. And it was really difficult, and I went through college, and that was really hard because the late night studying and the stresses and everything else like that, really put a lot of stress on me. And, I wrote a letter to the Epilepsy Foundation. I kind of asked them, how to get through this. And I got 300 to 400 letters from all over the United States and Canada from people with the same disorder, and they were very inspired, and they had given me their advice on how they overcame the disorder and how they are pulling through it. And it really inspired me, and I realized that we're not alone. Everybody in this world has something. We all have something, but we learn to pull through it. Everybody has a roller coaster ride and a story to tell. It's just how we get through it and how we move on in our lives. And I always say, like, the past is the past. We can't change the past, but we can focus on the present, and we can make changes for the future. And those changes, that we make, can lead us, anywhere in life. We just have to set those positive goals. We have to really think about what we want for ourselves, and then, make a journey and make a pathway to achieving those goals to get our dreams to come true.
I like that, because the future's not set in stone. You can always change the future.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely.
You choose the future. When you watch all those different shows and sci-fi, they tell you, you can change the future, so you can, right?
Yeah, I believe we can. Yeah, I believe there is a journey set out for us, but you know what? We can make changes. And if we listen to the universe and we listen to our intuition and ourselves, we can make the right choices and, lead ourselves on the right pathway.
Nice. So you are the first person that I've spoken to and now known that has had epileptic episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that process? It's something that I'm not even close to familiar with. Going through an episode, basically.
Epilepsy is a disorder. Basically, your brain waves kind of go like this, and then for someone with epilepsy, there is a blockage somewhere. There is scar tissue maybe in the brain, and it makes those brain waves kind of go spike at some point where there's something neurologically, causing the brain not to kind of move the way it's supposed to. That's the best way I could explain it, for someone who doesn't understand epilepsy. And, when you have those spikes in your brain, it causes an epileptic seizure. For me, I had scar tissue damage. Like, I had encephalitis, and the encephalitis had traveled to my brain. It had caused scar tissue damage. I was in a coma for several days, and they didn't know what was going to happen. And they thought if I came out, I probably would have severe brain damage, or I would be paraplegic. And I ended up coming out of the coma, but I came out with epilepsy. So I didn't have any of the other things that they were worried that I was going to have, but I did end up with epilepsy. And to this day, they can't locate the scar tissue damage in my brain, but they know that the scar tissue is there because of the seizures I have. Basically, if there's scar tissue damage on different parts of the brain, you'll have different types of seizures. If you have scar tissue damage throughout the brain, you can have grand mal seizures where the whole body goes into a seizure and the body will shake and your eyes maybe will go back and you'll go into, an actual seizure. And they can last, anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes. And, it's something that could be a little bit, traumatizing for the person seeing it and for the person having it as well.
Oh, yikes. Now, do you currently experience seizures?
I've been doing really well, but I have to live a certain lifestyle. If certain things trigger my seizures, so I have to be very careful. And if I don't do the things I'm supposed to, and if I don't take my medication, and if I try to be a superhero, and it will cause stresses on my body, and I could definitely have a seizure. I just have to, I learned over the years when I was writing for a herbalist, and I was consistently taking seizures. They were trying to find the right medications. And I was working for an herbalist and I was doing a lot of research for him and writing articles, and I learned a lot about a lot of different herbs and natural remedies and different things that could help the body naturally. And I started actually applying those to my body, and I went from maybe having 9 seizures a month to 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 to 2, and my seizures kept getting better and my body started feeling better. I started getting more energy. I started focusing better, and I really realized at that point that the way we take care of our body has so much impact on how we feel, on the way we think, on the way we feel, the way we act, everything, So it's really important to understand that people want to sometimes feel better. They want all these things to happen, but then you ask the person, how are you taking care of your body? What are you eating? Are you getting enough of sleep? Are you doing the certain things in your lifestyle? And they'll say, no, I don't really have, I eat anything. Or they'll tell you your diet, and they have all these things in the foods that they're eating that are processed and harsh for the body, and they're not getting enough of sleep. The body needs sleep, and that's very important. Keeping 90% of our illnesses are caused by stress related. They're caused by stress. And so, trying to create a lifestyle that's not as stressful, is very important too, because you could actually dig yourself into your own grave by having too much stress in your life. Right. So these are all things you have to kind of consider. And these are, these are the things I learned over the course of the last couple of decades. And, that's how I started writing the Complete Herbal Guide, my website. And, a lot of experts came on and started writing articles. And, I started to learn a lot of things from other people as well. And, it's very important how we take care of our bodies. If we want to feel good, look good, and if we want to even, look a lot younger down the road, we have to take care of our bodies now.
That is very valid. Now, was there something, so you were going through college, you were dealing with a whole bunch of different stuff. I mean, college alone. Own stress category, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Did something happen where you were just like a light bulb click when you realized it was your food, where it was just your diet and different things happening that was causing you all this stress?
Well, stress in general, just so many different things cause stress, but it was how I cope with the stress. I learned that I needed to find a healthier way to cope with stress. And so I started not sweating the little things in life, I didn't let everything get to me. If a problem occurred, I'd focus on that problem, I'd find a solution and I'd move on. I wouldn't dwell on the problem. I wouldn't dwell on little things. And, I used yoga, I did meditation, I ate well, I slept well, I tried to give myself, we can't be perfect, but we try, and try to do the best things possible. And those things have a huge impact, and thinking positively. And every situation that happened, I said, okay, I have epilepsy, but epilepsy kind of changed me in a good way, because I started looking at people differently. When you have a disorder, you start realizing, everybody has something, everybody goes through things in life, and you start feeling more compassion towards people. And when people have things going on in their life, you kind of realize, everybody, you just kind of have more compassion and more love towards each individual. Sometimes I think in this world, especially in the United States itself, we are too harsh to criticize one another, when we should take a step back and we should really actually look at each other and look at the good in everybody and
Mhm.
focus on that, and not be so critical about those person's flaws, because we all have flaws. I can make a whole list of flaws of everything, in my book that is not perfect. We should focus on each other and focus on the good things of each other, and then to try to build off that and build relationships and love and friendships, and learn from each other, because when you see crises come, people, all of a sudden get together. But why can't we be like that all the time?
All
It
the time.
shouldn't take a crisis. We should all be together and helping each other all the time. And we need to trust each other and love each other. There's so much, that there's the trust. There's a lot of, people are very hesitant. Like, I feel like we were more trustworthy when we were younger, and maybe it was because we knew less. The internet wasn't up, and, all these things weren't up, and it was just, you saw people hitchhiking on the road, picking people up and bringing them to their destination. All these crazy things, it was just like people just, they trusted each other. You don't see much trust nowadays, and it's sad, but, the trust and the love is out there, and we have to find it and build on it.
Nice. And did this evolution create how your journey of your site and doing I don't want to call it the healthy path, but
Mm-hmm.
because your site, you have a lot of like holistic, I want to say. You're very close to like the holistic and the spiritual world, the way you speak. So when
Yeah.
this realization happened, is that what made you the happiest person?
Well, when I started learning how to deal with my epilepsy, and when I started focusing on faith, courage, wisdom, strength, and hope, those 5 words, and when you have faith, the wisdom of words is what I learned. When it came to wisdom, I learned that when I had one person write to me one day, and it was in an email, and she wrote me a letter, and she read one of my books called Epilepsy You're Not Alone, and she was on the verge of suicide because she said that she lost everything in her life. Her seizures, she couldn't work anymore, she couldn't drive anymore, she couldn't do anything, and all of a sudden, she felt like imprisoned in her own home, because she couldn't do all the things she could do, and she just felt trapped, and she was very depressed, and she just didn't see the point of living. She was looking at all the negative things and all the bad things, and she just was very sad and depressed. And she read my book, she read my regimens, my tools and techniques and different ways to improve your life with the disorder. And she said that she had a new way of living and thinking, and she didn't want to commit suicide anymore. She wanted to live, and she wanted to do good, and she realized there was so much good in her, and that she could do so much for others. And it was that moment where when you help somebody, the feeling of helping someone is just, there's no words for it. And I realized the power of words, the wisdom of words can inflict a life. So, things we say, and the motivational speeches, or the things we say, or the articles we write, can have such an impact on another person. And I realized then it was, that the stuff that I was going through, and the insight that I came over the years through my own experience, could help so many others. I started out with a little blog on Blogger on Google, and I had like 400 people on it, and I started writing about epilepsy. And then I started writing about, when I started doing all the research on health, I started writing health articles and informing people about all these different herbs and plants. And the website grew from 400 to 10,000 to, later on I realized I created my own website, and it grew to, over 500,000. People were interested. I realized it wasn't just epilepsy. I could help everybody, because, everybody has a condition, and, everybody, there's ways to, overcome or improve, every condition. And, that's how I got on with the Complete Herbal Guide, because people were inquiring and asking me questions, and they had so many, things they wanted to learn. And I created the website, and then people, that had experience in the field started writing articles for me and putting them on the website. And it just, it really, started helping people. And over the course of the last decade, it grew to a very big website. And, people want to learn how to improve themselves. They just don't want to pop a pill. They want to be able to try to fix their bodies and fix the way they think and everything, on a more natural basis.
Yes. No one wants to keep popping pills.
No. Yeah.
And it seems like you've created this community of people that already have the knowledge that want to contribute even more. And also